Hola clase, hoy vamos a tomar apuntes sobre el imperfecto. El imperfecto. Ya hemos revisado la formación. So you guys just finished reviewing the formations. Aba, abas, aba, abamos, abais, aban, ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. Hoy vamos a hablar de los usos. Así que en tu papel, por favor, vamos a tomar apuntes. Let's take notes. No se olviden, hay que poner la fecha. Make sure you've written the date. So here we go. El imperfecto. Hoy vamos a hablar de los usos del imperfecto. Los usos. Entonces, yo tengo una palabra para ayudarnos a recordar los usos del imperfecto. So my acronym to help us remember the uses, of the imperfect tense is Dr. Lewait. So when you're having pesky problems and you're upset and you don't feel good because you don't know whether to use the preterite in the past or the imperfect in the past, Dr. Lewait is your guy. He's the one that's going to help you remember whether it should be imperfect or not. So here we go, Dr. Lewait. So down the side, I'm going to write out Dr. Lewait. So it's D-R-L-E-W-A-I-N-T. So down the side of my paper, I've written out Dr. Lewait. So each of these letters represents a use of el imperfecto. Vamos a empezar con la D. La D representa descripción. Anytime I describe in the past, no importa si era ayer or hace 10 años, if it was yesterday or 10 years ago, no importa. If I'm describing in the past, I have to use the imperfect tense. So al lado de la D, next to the D, I'm going to write the word description. We already did that. Remember when we were talking about childhood, we described ourselves and other people in the past. De niña, yo era muy traviesa. So description is always imperfect in the past. Okay, la R. La R representa repeated past action. So in English, we would say used to. So for example, I might say, I played on the playground as a child. I could also say I used to play on the playground as a child, and it makes perfect sense. So even if we don't use used to, if you could, then that means you're going to use the imperfect tense. So, yo jugaba en el patio de recreo. Yo asistía la guardería infantil. Yo visitaba a mis abuelos cada verano. All of those are imperfect because all of those things used to take place. They used to happen. So the R, again, is a repeated past action. And then in parentheses, so para no olvidar, voy a poner used to, just so I don't forget. So ahí tenemos. Description, repeated past action, used to. Ahora vamos con la L. La L representa location. So anytime I talk about where someone or something was, that's going to be the imperfect tense. Now, if you remember, for how you feel and where you are, always use the verb estar. So I'm going to write the word location, and then in parentheses, I'm going to write the word estar, because estar is my key. Okay, it's my clave, my key, to help me remember that I'm talking about a location. Yo estaba en el supermercado. Yo estaba en la casa de mi tía. Location. La E representa emoción. So the E is for emotion. It's for emotion because an emotion doesn't always have an action with it. For example, I could be really happy and have no jumping up and down, no screaming of joy. I could just be happy, and that's just a state of being. That is just a description. So an emotion is going to be Dr. Lewait, and therefore is the imperfect tense. Now, if I'm happy and I jump would be the preterite tense because that's my action. And I didn't used to jump, I jumped once because I was happy. But being happy is still the imperfect tense. Yo estaba feliz. La W. La W representa weather. So here we go. I'm going to write down the word weather. For example, I feel like this week we've experienced every season, right? So, el lunes estaba nublado, el martes hacía calor, el miércoles hacía frío, hoy hacía viento, is windy. So, all of this is going to be weather, which is going to be el imperfecto. La A representa edad, age. So, here we go. We're going to write down the word age now. Think back to your Spanish 1. What verb do we use to talk about how old someone is in Spanish? We use the verb tener. Así que entre paréntesis, in parentheses, I'm going to write down the word tener because I want to remember that it's not to be. In English, I am an age, but in Spanish, an age is just something that I have. It's just a number. So, yo tenía 10 años. Él tenía 25 años. Ahora la I. The I represents ing. So it's kind of weird. Ing is the present progressive. But all I need you to know is that it's ing. So in English, if I said something like, I was talking on the phone, we were walking down the street, the 7 dwarves, they were whistling while they worked. That whistling, walking, those things are going to fall under the ing category because I'm saying was whistling. So that's where I get the ing from. So in parentheses, I'm going to put was with a blank and then ing, just so I remember that I'm saying in English, I was blanking, I was jumping, singing. Y la T representa time. Now, do you remember what word we used for time? How to tell time? To tell time, we're going to use the verb ser. So I'm going to put that in parentheses as my clue. So, eran las 10 de la mañana. Era la 1 de la tarde. Anytime I give you the time and I'm talking about the past, I have to use the imperfect tense because time is not an action. Time is kind of like setting the scene. So the reason we're going to talk about the difference between the imperfect tense and the preterite tense is because we're getting ready to talk about fairy tales. And in fairy tales, I'm going to have both. I'm going to have the imperfect tense because I'm going to set the scene. I'm going to tell you what the weather was like, how people felt, where they were, what they used to do before the action happened. The action, that's going to be the preterite. Remember, the preterite is specific. It's a one-time event or a specific number of times. So I use this to set my scene, and then I use the preterite to move my story along. The next activity is going to be translations. So I've written some examples of all of these relating to the story of Snow White. So before you do that, I want you to watch the trailer for Snow White, and then I want you to copy down the Spanish sentences as your examples, and I want you to translate them. Remember, don't use any site except for word reference. Use your vocab list, use that trailer to help you, and use Dr. Lewait to help you figure out, oh, that would be was blanking. Okay? Buena suerte, you've got this. If you need me, send me an email. Adios!